Coming up on this edition of SUTV News, we have our final sit-down with President Dean Bresciani.
We take a look at two different leagues in the union.
And in sports, the NDSU women's basketball team looks forward towards the Summit League.
This is SUTV News, and it starts now.
Welcome to SUTV News. I'm Brittany Hovland.
And I'm Ryan Longnecker. For the past couple of weeks, we have been doing a three-part series on our sit-down with NDSU President Dean Bresciani.
Tonight, we conclude our series with a look at how the President views his time at NDSU and his thoughts on some of the recent student-run projects.
What's it been like since your time becoming president at NDSU?
Oh, it's been everything I'd hoped it would be. Why I was attracted here from Texas A&M was not just the better weather. I haven't perspired since I moved to North Dakota. But it was the opportunity for a university to be a major part of the success of an entire state. And I saw that potential in NDSU. And we have become a big part of the success of our entire state of North Dakota. The positive attention that we're bringing, the accomplishments and contributions we're making to the economy, all of that is the biggest reward of being a university president.
Since we do focus a lot on what students are doing and the students who have proposed like the bike share program, how do you feel about that program?
Well, that's a particularly exciting aspect because students were who initiated it and really were the impetus behind getting past a number of hurdles and barriers that I think would have been easy to say, we're not going to be able to make that happen. But students and student leaders had a vision for how important that would be for students and for our community and pushed it through. And I couldn't be more excited about the initiation of that program and the vision years ago that some of our student leaders had and stayed committed to.
And so how about the new aquatic center?
Once again, a student-led and initiated project that, frankly is overdue. I think if we looked at our peer institutions around the nation and even institutions that are below us, so to speak, most of them have some sort of aquatic and recreation center, and particularly someplace where outdoor athletics and recreation can be a little challenging 3 or 4 months a year. That's a very important project to our students, and it's going to be a game changer as far as students' physical and mental well-being, particularly during the winter months.
Being the president, you probably don't get to spend a whole lot of time with students directly. How do you try to keep yourself involved on campus as much as you can?
Well, it's true. I don't get to spend time with students nearly as much as I'd like to, but I try to be as visible and as accessible as possible. Whether it's walking to meetings whenever I can versus driving to meetings, whether it's before football games, throwing out little NDSU foam footballs to the student section, attending as many student events as I possibly can. When student leaders want to meet with me, when students ask me to come to something, to attend something, I make that a big priority because ultimately that's who I serve, are the students who we're educating, and I need to be attentive to that and make that a major priority.
Stay tuned until after SUTV News for our full sit-down with President Bresciani.
The long-awaited program is one step closer to being fully implemented. The bike share stations are here. NDSU has been installing the stations all week for the bike share locations. There are 7 downtown spots and 4 on campus. Ready to start riding the bikes? Unfortunately, the bicycles themselves will not be ready until after spring break. Those involved with the bike share wanted to clear up some misunderstandings and explain that the startup of the program is using existing student fees. Despite that it will cost $65,000 a year to keep up, that's about $5 per student.
If you make your way to the Union, you may have noticed the people hanging out in the basement. This is where the pool tables and bowling alley are located. SUTV's Abby Furchner goes down to the Recreation Center in the Union for more information.
The Bowling League, a league that allows NDSU students and staff members to compete for a cash prize.
I know the bowling alley goes back way back, and I assume it just kind of a bunch of people got together and said, hey, let's start a league on campus instead of having to drive all the way over to, Red River Lanes or the Bowl or someplace like that.
The league is a great way to meet new people or to create a team with your friends. You only need 2 to 4 people to enter. Even though these teams are competing to be number 1, laughter and having a good time is definitely welcome.
Came in as a random. They needed a guy to fill in, and I got to know my team pretty good just through one session. It's a good deal.
If you walk outside of the bowling alley, you will see 7 pool tables. This is where the Billiards League takes place. Those who are involved will have a chance to participate in a national tournament this summer.
Every year we have an ACUI 9-ball tournament that we hold here at NDSU, and then from there on you go up to levels, you go to a regional tournament, and from there you can work your way to nationals.
Those on campus may be wondering, how can they get involved? The answer is simple.
You know, if you're not a great player or even a good player, you can still show up and have a great time, but really you gotta come.
These 2 leagues are great ways to get involved at NDSU. Anyone and everyone are welcome. Abby Furchner, SU TV News.
The bowling league plays on Monday nights at 6:30 and billiards are on Tuesday nights also at 6:30. Even if you don't want to be on a team, you can still go down to the Union and play pool and bowling with friends.
When we come back, we take a look at a collection on campus that lets us visit the past.
After this week's 7-day forecast.
It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's the power of free checking with Kasasa. First Community Credit Union offers free ATMs, mobile banking, and are conveniently located right next to the campus of NDSU. We also offer Kasasa, which is a free checking account that pays you cash. Kasasa requires no minimum deposit to open, no monthly service fees, and don't forget the free ATMs. Discover the power of Kasasa at your local First Community Credit Union.
The NDSU bookstore has everything you need to show off your Bison pride. The bookstore can have you sporting green and gold wherever you go. It offers many different brands, sizes, styles, and selection so that you find exactly what you're looking for. Shop the NDSU bookstore and show your spirit today.
Welcome back. It's National Women's Week, and one way to see how far women have come is to look into the past.
There's a collection here on NDSU's campus that allows students to do just that.
The Emily Reynolds Costume Collection allows students to see how clothing from the past was influenced by societal roles.
But one of the times that you can really see the change is between 1910 and 1920. We get from the point where before women needed assistance and they were there to kind of show off how rich their husbands or fathers were. There probably still was that play, but the fashions really took off and kind of emancipated women's bodies as well as gave them the right to vote.
The collection has 3 parts: history of the region and history of fashion shown through dress, and an around-the-world doll collection that was started by a woman who had over 300 dolls.
And Mrs. Herbst would always collect a doll wherever she went. And so the Around the World doll collection that we have kind of was started with hers. Emily Reynolds, who this is named after, was very interested in using the dolls to teach people about world culture.
The costume collection was named after Reynolds, who taught at NDSU for more than 40 years. She started the collection to help students learn from examples. The museum is housed in the Catherine Kilbourne Burgum Family Life Center. Catherine was a friend of Emily's, a North Dakota Agricultural College graduate, NDSU Dean of Home Economics, a political activist, and was honored this past week.
The theme of Women's Week is bending the binary, the gender binary, masculinity versus femininity. With Kay Burgum, she grew up with 4 brothers, 4 older brothers, and she competed with the boys all her life. And so it wasn't really, she respected and knew gender boundaries, but for ones that didn't make sense to her, she disregarded.
The Emily Reynolds costume collection has over 5,000 pieces, with the oldest dating back to the 1600s. The collection is on the 4th floor of the FLC.
Facebook has become an important part of our culture. It is an easy way to stay in touch with friends and family, but like many things, it can have its drawbacks. A new study suggests there are many possible reactions to being on Facebook too much. The study comes from the University of Missouri. They talked to more than 700 college students and found that checking in on your peers on Facebook can make you think that you don't quite measure up. The key to the study, though, is that the depression comes only after the envy. If you can check Facebook without getting jealous, you should be okay. Those most at risk are users who researchers described as surveillance users, more commonly called stalkers. If you are constantly checking on your friend's progress, you may be more likely to compare their success to your own. The big recommendation the study makes is to remember that Facebook does not provide you the entire picture of someone's life. In most cases, people only are going to post what makes them look good, so their lives may not be as perfect as they seem.
A Fargo man is set to make waves on national television. More on that when we come back.
Stay with us.
The NDSU bookstore has everything you need to show off your Bison pride. The bookstore can have you sporting green and gold wherever you go. It offers many different brands, sizes, styles, and selection so that you find exactly what you're looking for. Shop the NDSU bookstore and show your spirit today.
It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's the power of free checking with Kasasa. First Community Credit Union offers free ATMs, mobile banking, and are conveniently located right next to the campus of NDSU. We also offer Kasasa, which is a free checking account that pays you cash. Kasasa requires no minimum deposit to open, no monthly service fees, and don't forget the free ATMs. Discover the power of Kasasa at your local First Community Credit Union.
SUTV News is a production of the Bison Information Network in conjunction with North Dakota State University's Department of Communication Broadcast Program. For more information, go to www.ndsubin.com.
Welcome back. Move over, Kat Perkins. It looks like another North Dakotan is making waves on TV.
A Fargo man auditioned for the hit NBC show The Voice Monday night. 20-year-old Michael Lear attempted to win over the 4 celebrity coaches in his blind audition. He performed Pearl Jam's version of Last Kiss and got both Adam Levine of Maroon 5 and country superstar Blake Shelton to turn their chairs around. Lear ultimately ended up choosing Levine and said he knew going into the audition that he wanted to work with Levine.
Carrie Underwood introduces her son to the world, and Kelly Clarkson could be heading to a city near you. Mary Muller has these stories and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
Carrie Underwood is a new mom. The singer shared the happy news with fans along with a glimpse of her newborn son's tiny hands. Isaiah Michael is the first child for Underwood and husband Mike Fisher. Fellow American Idol vet Kelly Clarkson is hitting the road this summer. Clarkson announced a 36-stop North American tour on the same day she released her 6th studio album. The Piece by Piece tour kicks off July 11th in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Tickets go on sale March 14th. And here's a first look, Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Edward Snowden. Levitt will play the controversial NSA whistleblower in a new film from Academy Award-winning director Oliver Stone. The newly released photos from the film depict Snowden in his early days at Army training. Snowden, also starring Nicolas Cage and Shailene Woodley, hits theaters December 25th. For Hollywood Minute, I'm Mary Muller.
For the past week, social media, news outlets, and pretty much everybody with an internet connection has heard about the dress.
For this week's Sidewalk Stampede, we went to find out what our student body thought about the dress. So is it black and blue?
Or gold and white.
Color is this dress?
Definitely white and gold, for sure.
But you're wrong.
No, I'm not. White, and then the lace is gold.
The lace is black.
But the lace is gold.
I am colorblind. I'm looking at the dress, and I see a series of grays.
All right, different than most, but good answer.
It looks like a gray and blue.
I saw blue and black. You saw white and gold? I completely disagree. You're insane. It's because you're salt and pepper.
See, white and gold. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
It's white and gold.
Thank you.
Color do you see?
I see black and blue. I see white and gold. What?
No, you don't.
Joining us now is Sports Director Joel Sipper.
So Joel, is it black and blue or white and gold?
I don't know. I don't know about those shakers though either.
You know, they were a little salty.
Either way, the only thing that I see is green and gold, and there's going to be a lot of that in Sioux Falls for the Summit League tournament.
It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's the power of free checking with Kasasa. First Community Credit Union offers free ATMs, mobile banking, and are conveniently located right next to the campus of NDSU. We also offer Kasasa, which is a free checking account that pays you cash. Kasasa requires no minimum deposit to open, no monthly service fees, and don't forget the free ATMs. Discover the power of Kasasa at your local First Community Credit Union.
The NDSU bookstore has everything you need to show off your Bison pride. The bookstore can have you sporting green and gold wherever you go. It offers many different brands, sizes, styles, and selection so that you find exactly what you're looking for. Shop the NDSU bookstore and show your spirit today.
Welcome back. For the second year in a row, the Summit League Player of the Year comes from NDSU. Earlier this afternoon, it was announced senior Lawrence Alexander is this year's winner of the award. What Alexander has done this season is nothing short of remarkable. For a team that many thought that they weren't going to do much. Alexander becomes the third player in NDSU history behind Ben Woodside and Taylor Braun to win the award. Lawrence's ability to step up in clutch situations and timely scoring has made him stand out.
He lives in the moment. He relishes in those moments, and thankfully for all of us, he delivers in a lot of those big moments.
I feel it's more like a team award. People might think it's individually, but I could not be handed this award without for my teammates and coaches.
Also, head coach Dave Richmond won Coach of the Year. Sophomore forward Dexter Werner was the sixth man of the year, and A.J. Jacobson was named to the All-Summit League newcomer team. Well, ranked fifth in the preseason poll, many overlooked the Bison men's basketball team this season. First-year head coach Dave Richmond and Summit League Player of the Year Lawrence Alexander proved those wrong and won a share of the Summit League title. Even though they're one of the top teams in the Summit League, the Bison are still playing with the chip on their shoulder that they had at the start of the year.
One of the main reasons people have had their doubts about this team has been the youth. Underclassmen like A.J. Jacobson, Carlin Dupree, Dexter Werner, and Paul Miller have played well early in their careers, but haven't played in a setting like the Summit League tournament.
That's going to be the biggest thing. You take Lawrence and Corey and Chris out of the mix a little bit. We're going to have a lot of new guys in a lot of positions in a big moment. I mean, this is March. A lot of crazy things happen. And
this year's tournament is wide open. The top 5 teams were just separated by 3 games in the regular season.
I realistically think there's 5 or 6 teams, in particular the way Denver's playing right now, that could win this thing. It's such a matchup deal.
During the year, the Bison made the transition from underdog to team to beat. NDSU will take on Denver in the first round, a team NDSU has beat twice but had to go into overtime both times. Certainly, the players are well aware of how their opponents view them.
We're that team that everyone always tries to play their best against, and we pride ourselves in being that team.
Just like I said before, we got to stay disciplined, stick to the game plan. I think we'll be just fine.
One trend that NDSU hopes to continue is the last 4 of the 5 Summit League Players of the Year have went on to win the tournament. NDSU will certainly lean towards Alexander to lead them to the promised land.
He lives in the moment. He relishes in those moments, and thankfully for all of us, he delivers in a lot of those big moments.
With the winningest player in NDSU history leading this team, the Bison seem in good hands. And if Saturday's game is anything like the 2 previous games with Denver, basketball fans are in for a treat.
To the women's side of the ball now. Last year, NDSU didn't get off to the hottest start in the opening round against IUPUI as they trailed 44-26 at half. The Bison rallied back, though, in the second half to get within 6, but their comeback fell short. This year, the Bison want to get out to a hot start and have upset on their mind.
Although a jump from a number 7 seed to a 6 seed may seem small on paper, the NDSU women's team have progressed significantly since last year. The Bison have almost doubled their win total from last season, and a lot of that has to do with senior point guard Brooke Lamar.
We're all very comfortable with her in the way that she plays and the way that she pretty much takes the team with her as she goes.
I think she's a tough competitor, so she wants to do anything and everything she can to help the team.
And that she has done, being second in the Summit League and scoring with 19.1 points a game. Lamar isn't the only one getting it done, though. Many other players have taken on bigger roles this year.
Keena has really developed into a very different player right now than she was at the beginning of the season. Certainly that gives Brooke a little bit of confidence. Marina has played well the last couple of games as well. Certainly that gives everybody confidence.
NDSU's presence down low is certainly felt as Whittle is 3rd in rebounding in the conference and Holly Johnson is 4th and will certainly need to step up against Oral Roberts. Still, the Bison feel they can turn some heads.
It's definitely up in the air as far as tournament time, and I'm sure that everyone knows that it's up for grabs.
I mean, beating them the first time around really helps us with confidence.
Confidence that they won't be one and done and continue to play.
I don't want it to end yet, so that's why this game is really important.
NDSU will take on Oral Roberts in the first round Sunday at 2:30. The game will be aired on ESPN3. Going into wrestling now, This year, the Western Wrestling Conference Regional Tournament is being held here in Fargo, and that has many Bison wrestlers excited. The Bison have 5 wrestlers as top seeds in their divisions heading into the regionals. NDSU is trying to repeat as Western
Learn to
Wrestling
rely on
Conference
the teammates
champions.
that you have. The team is a lot closer, and we know how to support each other well, and we know how to expect a lot out of each other.
You know, we've been able to get some decent crowds in there this year for a couple of bigger dual meets, and I think, you know, it's going to be good for all our guys.
NDSU middle distance runner Aaron Teschuk is simply running away from the competition this year. The junior has qualified for the NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships, making her the second woman in NDSU history to compete in 2 events at the championships. Teschuk ranked 4th in the mile and 5th in the 3,000-meter race. Only 6 other women in the U.S. have qualified in the top 5 in 2 different events. And although the NCAAs are a bigger stage, it only propels her to compete harder.
I mean, I think this will be the toughest competition I've ever really competed against, so I can't wait to see how that pushes me and everything.
Aaron's a very competitive individual. You know, to be able to run against other athletes at her level is definitely going to bring out the best in her.
Well, on the women's side of the ball, too, Brooke Lamar getting named to the first team All-Summit League, and Holly Johnson, all-memorable, and then Taylor Thunstead, also newcomer of the year. A lot going for Bison basketball right now.
Wow, thanks, Joel.
When we come back, if you're a Walking Dead fan, you might want to check out eBay. A significant prop has gone on sale.
Stay with us.
More than 400 million people use Facebook to stay connected with family, friends, and colleagues, in addition to the millions of others who use Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and Flickr for networking purposes. While Facebook and other social media sites are great tools to help you connect with friends and build networks, you should also be aware of the potential dangers associated with using these tools. So, let's talk tech. First of all, always be mindful of what you and your friends are posting online. Nothing online is private, no matter what security settings a website may boast. Anything posted online stays online. So take time to consider what you and your friends are putting online before you post it. For example, do you want your potential employers or your current boss to see embarrassing pictures that your friends have posted? There's also the question of how much information should you disclose on a social media site. Posting too much personal information could lead to lost job opportunities, harassment, internet stalking, and identity theft. Don't publicize information that the public doesn't need to know. Finally, you should think about who you want to see those things you've posted online by evaluating the appropriateness of the privacy settings on your social media site. It is recommended that you customize your settings such that only your close friends can see your personal information, such as your home address, email, and phone numbers. Ideally, this information should not even be online. Additionally, social media networks frequently update their security protocols, so be sure to review and update your security settings regularly. With these precautions, you will be well on your way to enjoying a safe and secure social networking experience.
This could be the ultimate piece of memorabilia from the hit show The Walking Dead. The town of Grantville, Georgia is up for sale on eBay. That's where several episodes of the show were filmed, and now it becomes a tourist destination. The going price is $680,000, and that includes 9 downtown buildings. Grantville's mayor bought the buildings in a foreclosure deal, and now he's ready to sell. He says several movies are set to film there, including one with Tom Cruise.
Not gonna lie, I wish I had a little bit of that money to buy that place.
That'd be great.
Thank you for watching this edition of SUTV News.
Be sure to check us out on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Also, visit us at NDSUbin.com for your chance to win some special prizes.
Have a great night.